Hi, so I'm Kofofolo. I went to the Maryland Institute College of Art, spoiler alert. I made this video like 4 yeyears ago. I don't know. You're probably like, okay, let me not watch this video. It's not relevant to me right now, but I am gonna just include things like now that I have knowledge of completing art school. If I would have included what I included in my portfolio and like how would I have changed it, and I guess just now I have a little more knowledge about what they look for in art school, at least for Mica, which is where I went, and I believe it would possibly be similar for the other art schools, so I don't know. I would stay, but yeah. And I'm gonna actually show you my current work because I feel really self-conscious showing a lot of this older stuff, so I'm gonna pop up some just a quick snippet of my current stuff so that you guys know what I make and what I make, and yeah. If I look down at any point, it's because I actually was able to pull up my literal application so I know exactly what I wrote, and I'll go ahead and like insert that so that you can see what mistakes I made and what I said for my descriptions and stuff, just in case you were curious about anything. In terms of my stats, I had a 4.2 GPA. I also was salutatorian, but I'll say that I did not have the best SAT scores. I think I got something about in the 12 range, like a 1280. While I did have like good grades and a good GPA, my SAT scores were not great. And I don't mention that I'm like salutatorian to like, you know, be like, oh, I'm so, no. I know people who got like worse grades, better SAT scores that got into like schools like RISDs, or worse grades and not high as the SAT score as I got. Not saying like all these disclaimers, just know I'm not fucking with nobody in a bad way. I am being as like genuine as I can. But yeah, so this is just to say that I wouldn't let that discourage you, and with a lot of things with art, if the work can speak for itself, I would take the risk of, you know, doing it despite what your grades might be and doing it despite what your SAT scores may be. I didn't do many extracurriculars in high school. I was in National Art Honor Society. I was in the VPA, which is the Visual Performing Arts Club. I wouldn't say that's it. Oh, I was in this thing called CCP, which is College Career Pathway. I guess I'm just gonna jump right into it. So I'm gonna go in the order that I actually submitted. You shouldn't just put your best work at the beginning or your best work at the end. And before I share any of my art, I'm just gonna give a trigger warning that most of my art is pretty dark and they include thoughts about death or suicide sometimes. The first piece I did was a digital piece. I made this on Adobe Photoshop and it's called Hey, Was That You I Saw Climbing That Tree?
Don't even clown me for any of the names. A little context, I did my portfolio a month before it was due because I thought that I was going to be a forensic pathologist, and then I thought I was going to be a neurosurgeon. And then I was like, you know what, art. So yeah, that's why I decided to go to art school. And so a lot of my portfolio is either stuff that were really old that I revamped or stuff that are really rushed that I did because I felt like my portfolio was lacking that thing. So just some more context.
Yeah, so this piece is about domestic abuse, and it's also about suicide, and pretty much it's just essentially it's the ghost of a woman who killed herself after being abused. Another ghost is visiting her. But I actually don't hate this. I guess this was my wow factor. It is like a heavier topic, so I guess it's like a good introduction of just like what type of art that I was making at the time. With that piece, I wanted to show, because I was applying for an animation degree, so I wanted to show that animation wasn't completely new to me, even though at this point honestly it was new to me. But I wanted to show that, like, you know, I'm applying for this thing and I can do it in some way. Just trying to show them that, you know, I am in that headspace. If you put me here, I can thrive in that degree, I guess. The second one is completely different from the other one. This one is a photograph and it's called Can We Take a Break Please? But this one I know for a fact was old because I think I did this as a project like my freshman year. I felt like it was riskier to say nothing than to BS anything. So yeah, this one I said, this piece depicts the feat of a boy laying down in the grass. I wanted to experiment with complementary colors. I'm like, damn, that was good. Yeah, so here I said that I was experimenting with complementary colors, just showing them that, like, you know, I understand some of the basics of art. Like, you can trust me to come into your school and not fuck up. The next piece, I actually physically have this one, so let me grab it. It's called Washed Away. I'm gonna put up the digital version so y'all can see it because it's originally a digital piece. It's about a lady who drowned and she was visiting where it all happened. So it was a ghost visiting the scene of her death.
Essentially, and I guess just to give context, because it's like, girl, why did you talk about death? My mom my mom passed away when I was younger, so like this was just the reason I even started doing art in the first place was in order to, you know, as an escape from like watching someone slowly die. This is like more depressing than I wanted to sound, but yeah, so that's why you see death come up a lot, even in like what I'm still doing right now. I guess it's just like, you know, figuring out my curiosity with that.
The next one, it's like, I wouldn't even personally put this in here. I was just trying to put a graphic design thing in my portfolio. So they were like, oh yeah, she can do graphic design as well. This is literally I titled it food coloring infographic because that is literally all it is. It's just an infographic. So my whole portfolio was based around the idea that I am a versatile artist, and that whatever medium you throw at me, I can still make something good out of it. If you're really good in oil, don't just put oil throughout your portfolio. Try to mix it up a little bit and, you know, do something else, like maybe throw an ink drawing in there or something, or graphic design thing, you know, whatever else you're like good at. Just don't try to make it like all one medium, because it shows, it can come off as like not as open-minded and not as versatile, as well as, you know, not willing to experiment and grow as art grows and all that. So this one I wouldn't put in here. I'd put something cooler. Literally any other type of graphic design I would put in here. I'm gonna just toss up something I've made recently, like some type of random graphic design that I made recently that I would put in here instead of this, but I mean, it still worked. So the next one is called Are You Done Yet? Both graphite and charcoal. They say not to mix those, but I be mixing them all the time. I said this piece shows a woman who is used to the lies that her partner tells her. I'm like, what was I going through at this point? And who was I dating? Because this is not what this is about. This is about nothing. I just wanted to draw a girl. I wanted to show a visual of what it looks like to be so accustomed to the lies that sometimes a grand reaction isn't accompanied by finding out heartbreaking information. So clearly I was going through some serious shit when I made this. Oh. The next one I don't physically have because it's digital again. This is a Glossier trifold brochure. It didn't start off as a trifold design, and my details for this was just that this piece is an advertising brochure for Glossier products. This was a just project in class. I think we were just supposed to make, I don't know what the project was, but we were supposed to make something graphic design related. And so I just did this. This piece is huge. I do have it and I will try to show you guys, but it's huge. So I'm just gonna mainly work with the digital, but this piece is called The Fall Down the Walls, and this one is made with acrylic paint and chalk pastel. I'm not gonna be able to hold it with how zoomed in I am, but I'll just show y'all like a little snippet. That is essentially what it looks like. This is she in all of her glory. She's a cutout piece. At the bottom, this is not in my portfolio, but I wish it was. I did a random shoe. And I don't know, I've always been so proud of this shoe. Like, it's not even like, but it's like, it's cute. I love it. I love like the random things down here too. I don't know, but this was before this piece was modified. So it's just a ghost revisiting the place of her death. You know, she's reflecting on when she fell out of a building. Moving on. This next one is called Mannequin and Salt Shakers, and this is oil paint on wood. I said I made all of this in 2018. That is likely not true. I really have nothing significant to say about this one, but I'll show you guys. This is what it looks like. The next one I don't physically have, even though I should, but it's just lost somewhere, and I made a zine. So this was a 5-page zine. It's really not a zine, honestly, in like the context and definition of what a zine is. I don't know if this qualifies as a zine, but it's just 5. It's a series of 5 gouache paintings. I said I wanted to experiment with distorting the body parts and creating characters with different egos and personalities. This was just showing that I do gouache, honestly. This one I hate badly. It's a graphic design poster that I made for an actual event, and I actually recreated this graphic design thing, and I have the recreation, but it's also wrinkled, so I'm just gonna put them. This is the old one that I put in my portfolio, and this is the new one that I had recreated for the event. This is it. This is what it looks like. I'm not even gonna attempt to open it up because it's just so big that it just makes more sense if I show you the poster like digitally. And again, with this was nothing, it was just to show that I do graphic design. Like, while I can like paint stuff and draw stuff, I can also do stuff digitally. This one is called The Girl with the Bubble Jacket. The jacket is not bubble. Let me just, spoiler alert. But let me grab it because I actually do have this one. This one I literally titled it what it is. Like, I said this is a portrait of a girl with a bubble jacket. Honestly, you would have thought I would have said some far-fetched shit just because of the hands. And honestly, the fact that I was reaching for that one, I reached so much when I did this one. You would have thought that I would have found something to say about this, but I guess I got tired at this point on in my portfolio of just making shit up completely. I was like, this is what it is. The next one is a figure drawing, and I made this with charcoal and graphite per usual. You want to have observational, if you can, you want to have observational things in your portfolio. So I'm just showing that you can like translate things from real life into, you know, drawing or painting or whatever. And so one of those examples was the still life that I had showed you with the mannequin and the salt shakers. But this one, I wanted to show that I can, you know, I have a decent understanding of human anatomy. And they recommend like going to like figure drawing classes. But I found that when I searched figure drawing classes out in the community, you had to be a certain age. Even though I was able to get into one because the man running it was just really nice, and I explained to him that I needed it for art, like to apply to art school. However, what I showed in this portfolio, like this piece is not done from a live figure, even though they recommend not to do that because they're like, they can tell, and you know what, they probably can, but I did not give a damn. So I put it in anyway. But this one I got from a website. I'm gonna put the website on the screen because I don't even remember what it's called, but that's where I got most of the live drawings that I was doing. And as you can see, like, I was just getting exhausted because look at the hands and look at the feet. I Want It to Ache is what the next one is called, and this one is major trigger warning. And I don't want to seem like my portfolio is romanticizing violence because it really isn't, but the intent was, again, a lot of my art was just a process of like dealing with suicidal thoughts while also dealing with abuse as well as grieving the death of my mother. So it was just, that's where a lot of the dark themes come from, and I really don't want to like, I don't want to ever be in the position of romanticizing violence and abuse and death. So I hope it's not coming across that way. This one I don't really want to read. I will just include the description if anybody's curious about it, but I don't, it's honestly one really long. I hate this piece. I wouldn't even put it in now. I would choose any other piece. It just looks so on the nose. Nothing to say about it. And the next one I feel the same way. This one's called What's at the Bottom of the Rope, which may be my favorite title so far. What's at the Bottom of the Rope, I feel like just inspires curiosity. And so I like this title. I feel like the other one's been very like, it's just stupid, a little trying to be deep. The photograph itself I don't really like. So I explained that this was for leading line perspective. Yeah. Digital photography, baby. This next one is called Lovers Rock Final. This piece is just a digital piece for a band. We had to do, I think, posters for something, and I decided to do a band poster of TV Girls Lovers Rock because I really like that song. Again, I just wanted to show I could do graphic design. Everything I did in this wasn't really to show the skill, I guess, per se, but like to show that I could you know, switch between mediums decently. Like, it's not saying like, oh, I'm so amazing in this. It's just like, no, I can switch. This one was a movie poster. There's a lot of graphic design in this, and it's because I was taking a graphic design course. I think I took a couple graphic design courses in high school, so a lot of the stuff that I used were just like things that I already had from previous assignments. This one is called Troll, and the L on the troll is, what is that? A slide? A synth? A seeth? Who's making these words? It's a good word though. I like
Scythe.
Scythe. I was close. The Grim Reaper's weapon is the L at the end. I don't love this again, but I did this on Adobe Photoshop, and here's where I started to make more mistakes on my portfolio. So I said Adobe Photoshop AN, and I meant to say and Adobe Illustrator. So I'm just glad that all the schools ignored all the mistakes. Dicks? Sorry, that just threw me off because what am I? This next one is called Did You Show Your Face at the Funeral? Did you show your faces at the funeral? There's tape on this, and honestly I'm scared to rip it off, so I'll show like the digital ones, but this is like a print that I had, that I have. And this is honestly inspired by The Haunting of the Hill House a little bit, and a little bit of The Great Gatsby, because pretty much this is about a girl who died, and inside of her are the people who attended her funeral, and they're faceless because no one important to her came. And the casket is tipped over a little bit because it just wasn't planned. It was thrown together. It was a thrown together funeral. Next up, we have Fragile, and this is a diptych. It is oil paint, acrylic paint, and cardboard. So this piece is to call attention to the ... That was a mistake I made again. I do this a lot. I still do this when I'm typing an essay or something, or just something big and overwhelming. I'll put like ... or like, come fix this later. I guess I just didn't come back and fix that, and I just didn't notice. I will just show y'all what it is. It's Fragile, handle with care. The color red, it symbolizes power, and I wanted to create tension and irony. I thought irony, I wrote horny, and I was gonna be like, that's so insane that I just had the amount of balls to write horny on my college application, but no. It said an irony by juxtaposing. I roll. Juxtaposing, if you're just throwing juxtaposition in a sentence, or juxtaposing, throwing those in the sentence just to throw it in, just know you're not doing anything special. And 99% of the other people probably have juxtaposition or juxtaposing in their thing. However, go ahead and use it. I mean, it doesn't matter, but just to let you know, you're probably not sounding as different as you think you are. And this is definitely me talking to myself because I thought I ate when I put juxtaposing in here. Anyway, honestly, I guess I was trying to make a social commentary here, but I don't know if I ate like I thought I did. The next one is a character design piece, and I was just explaining that these two are what? The man he's standing strong and refuses to let his sickness control him. What am I talking about? No, it actually originated from my sketchbook, and I will show you. The sketch of the first one. So I do this a lot. Like, I even just did this recently with a Frankenstein sketch that I did. I'm gonna put it in there because I have stickers of it. If y'all want to buy some. I haven't made my Etsy yet, but I'm thinking about making one. And girl, she's made from here. This is her beginnings. I don't have much to say about them. Apparently I did in my description, which is absurd what they were allowing me to write, bro. Lastly, any comments, right? And it's just a play on words because it's supposed to be like any comments, but it's any comments. Any comments. It's starting to like really blur into each other for me. This one I made in Photoshop again, and as you can see, I started with the animation, finished with the animation. That's not to say if you're applying to film, like start with the film, end with the film. That's just how I did it. I just thought these were the most like weird and interesting things to look at. So I'm gonna put them both side by side so you can see like what I started with, what I ended with, just so y'all can see like, oh, I'm gonna start strong and strong and stuff. This one is about relationships. So the people around the couple are their exes, and they're upset until they start to see that their relationship is going bad, which is like why they're, you know, getting rotten and all of that. Okay, so I said the comet is pretty much a weapon shot by their exes, you know, people who used to love them who are now preying on their downfall, essentially. I will put the whole bullshit of text here for y'all to read. Nothing, I feel like I'm trying to see if there was a piece that I genuinely like created with like what I said it was. But yeah, so that is my art portfolio. I made one in the past, but it was a social injustice to keep that video up. And I'm gonna show a clip because you might be like, you're exaggerating. No, it was bad. It was genuinely bad. I don't know, I would say like, just because someone has this journey doesn't mean it should discourage you from doing it, even if your journey is completely different. Like, even if you have like, I don't want to say the worst, but like even if you have like bad grades or bad SAT score, or you feel like your art isn't great, I would say that if you really want it, it's worth the shot. Because what if the answer is yes? So yeah. So that is just my last tip, I guess. Don't be discouraged, because when I was watching portfolio videos, I was like, damn, like theirs is really good. But you know, I still went out on the limb. I was like, my parents are gonna kill me. Well, my dad is gonna kill me if I don't go to college, so something gotta give, something gotta give. Please stick around, subscribe. I am going to be more consistent here for sure. So I'm trying to post every week, so I would love for you to stay. But yeah.